Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. I'm here to do one final video for the month of January. A Halloween video on this Michael Myers Monday. And it's not a video by request or anything, it's just a video I've decided to do. I decided to pit two characters, not necessarily just against each other, but sort of look at those two characters and actresses and how one got over and one hasn't really yet. And I think this is fair. 1978, John Carpenter's immortal classic Halloween. The first offense people are going to jump to. Well, Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Janet Leigh and Tony Curtis. A great actor and a great actress. No argument. I've seen movies with both Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh in it. And no, not just Psycho. That Janet Leigh's in, by the way. Tony Curtis isn't in that movie. But I've seen their movies. And here's the thing. The only movie people can name me that Janet Leigh's been in is Psycho. That's it. That's all they can name me. So, with that being said, John Carpenter, yes, he did know that Jamie Lee was Janet Leigh's daughter, but he still rolled the dice. Here's this 19-year-old actress who he's giving a chance to and giving the ball to, giving a chance to sink or swim in this independent movie. When I say that horror movies, really Halloween has sort of done this ever since this trilogy has started. They're not giving the young actors a chance to sink or swim. They're just she's just there, it feels like. And that's sort of my biggest disappointment so far this trilogy. Look, Laurie Strode is an all-time great character. She's a legacy character, right? I've talked about this with Dark Shadows. My favorite character ever is Victoria Winters. I love Alexander Isel's portrayal of the character. And a friend of mine had asked me, well, when or if they get the new series off the ground, do you want to see that character? And I said, sure, but not a ton of her. I mean, really, what I really want to see is new characters. And don't get me, look, I'm wearing a Barnabas Collins t-shirt, okay? Most everyone's favorite character is Barnabas. Now, I will say that to sort of give a weird comparison, I love Barnabas too, but at the same time, I don't want Barnabas in the first two episodes, either by the end of the first season or the start of the second. Yep, wait that long for that character. Because why? That character in Dark Shadows lore is what? Established. Same thing with Victoria Winters. That character is already established. They're both known characters. They're both over. If you have characters no one knows and they're not over, and you just pull out the character who's already over, you're not going to get those characters over. So here's Laurie Strode, 1978. She's not over at the time, but she's about to get over. And how does she get over? Jamie Lee Curtis sells with, great facial expression about, well, why is this guy, why do I keep seeing this guy like following me around? This guy in this mask. What is this? Is this a prank? Mr. Riddle, is that you? No, it's not Mr. Riddle. Mr. Riddle probably had a stroke. That or Michael 86 Tim himself. I want, that's a death that's not really confirmed in the Halloween franchise. Did Mr. Riddle bite the dust? Did he? Did he really? That would be a fun dive to whether Mr. Riddle. No, I'm not talking about Matt Riddle in WWE either. Mr. Riddle in Laurie Strode's backyard, who was in his 70s, I believe. Did he have a stroke? Did Michael just kill him? One or the other? Because we just see Michael standing in Mr. Riddle's backyard. By the way, the laundry's hanging, so it makes you wonder if Michael just didn't sneak in the house, knife Mr. Riddle, walk out, stand there. It makes you wonder. It really does. And it's making me wonder now. So should I say R.I.P. Mr. Riddle? I guess I should. I mean, he would be dead now by now, but Mr. R.I.P. Mr. Riddle. Sorry, So Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, he's seeing Michael Myers throughout this movie. Now she doesn't know it's Michael Myers. She doesn't know who's underneath this costume. It could be anybody. She even says in the car, "I saw somebody standing in Mr. Riddle's backyard." She doesn't say I saw Michael Myers. I saw somebody standing in Mr. Riddle's backyard. So this character, Laurie Strode, is over right away. And she's over because here's this girl that walks up to the Myers house, puts the keys underneath the door, and Michael sees her and he starts following her. And automatically you're going, oh, oh shit, that girl's in for a rough day or a rough night, one or the other. And by the time it gets dark, you're really feeling it because the killer is following her and her friend, Annie Brackett. John Carpenter knew how to put his characters over. That's what I will give him over David Gordon Green. He knew how to. Yes, David Gordon Green knows how to shoot a movie. I'm not taking that away from him. But John Carpenter knew how to get a protagonist over. He had Laurie Strode over way before the end of that movie. And by the end of that movie, he had her all the way over. This is what I mean. When I look at Jamie Lee Curtis and I look at Andy Matichek, and I'm going to use this comparison. I sort of talked about this in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre discussion I had with Butch. Shout out to him. You literally have in 1990 when I watched John Carpenter's Halloween. I had never seen a Jamie Lee Curtis movie. I didn't know who Jamie Lee Curtis was. I learned who Jamie Lee Curtis was after that point. So in 1990, when I was a kid, I didn't know who Jamie Lee Curtis was. I eventually learned who she was because my mom showed me John Carpenter's Halloween. But I realized right away, man, this woman knows how to sell. She knows how to perform. But again, she was given that opportunity in 1978. That's something I picked up as a kid. Flash forward to 2018. Ask yourself, was Andy Matichek given that same opportunity? And here's the thing. I've talked about I didn't know who Jamie Lee Curtis was in 1990. I've never watched Orange is the New Black. I didn't know who Andy Matichek was. I didn't. And I damn sure don't think anyone else did either. So here's this actress who you're not really familiar with being given, what seems like a golden opportunity, but it's like, well, wait, where is her opportunity? She has talking points, but it's weird because there's so many things they could have did with this character. So many more things. Ray's death could have been more meaningful, and I'm going to get into that here too. This is going to be a long video. So, what would I have liked to see? How about Laurie Strode at Annie Brackett's grave, remembering the death of her friend, one of her best friends, and Linda's grave isn't too far up from her. They could have did this. This would not have been hard to do, and I would have had, you know, Allyson, who knows that her grandma's been going to the graveyard for a long time, go there the day before, before she goes to school. She tells her, "Hey, are you coming to the dinner tonight? It's a big dinner." And Lori, your mom doesn't want me there. And Allyson, I want you there. I want you there, Grandma. That's what that's what should matter. I want you there. But you need to let this go. Allyson again, has been in the middle of this. And I think that is something that the filmmakers did establish good with her saying, no, it wasn't her brother. It was they're not related. It's something I think the filmmakers did do a good job establishing, but I do wish they would have did more to sort of emphasize, okay, Allison is in the middle, but she does want her grandmother around. They established that, but again, there should have been the driving force home of Allison sees both sides of it. And where would I put Ray in this? They really should have did that character way more justice. Ray would not have been a resident of Haddonfield. Ray would have been someone who wasn't born in Haddonfield. And he would have, he goes, look, I'm not from this town. I've heard all about this Michael Myers stuff from your mom. I've heard your grandma and her, argue about it at times when your grandma's come over. I've read in the newspaper about what happened. I've read the old clippings. When I moved here as a kid, that's it. And honestly, Allison, I don't want to get in between your mom and grandma. If you want your grandma around, I'm not going to stop you. I know that I love you. That's some. It's funny. Kills Ray, and Allison, is wanting to avenge her father, and it makes you feel like there was a closer connection. Then they should have had that closer connection in 2018 displayed. They don't. Her laughing at his joke. No offense, the guy telling the joke is a hell of a voice actor and freaking funny as hell. So I mean, yeah, you're gonna laugh. But that's just it. There should have been a stronger connection in 2018 between Ray and Allison that would have made sense considering they're supposed to be father and daughter. Again, there's things that there's subtle things you pick up in John Carpenter's Halloween when Laurie Strode's father says, "Don't forget to drop the keys off at the Myers place." She says, "I won't, I won't, okay." That's the thing. Like, there's not a lot there, and there doesn't have to be. But if you're gonna try to stress in a sequel, like 28 from 2018 that kills, then you need to have that relationship between father and daughter. Ray's death would not have been Michael killing him from behind, choking him. No, Alice, when Allison was running home, was running through the woods, Michael would have been pursuing her. Those dummies, Michael would have been moving in between them, and she's so paranoid that a dummy is Michael that the dummy, she's sort of seeing things like, well, okay, where did he go? Boom, boom, boom. He's getting closer to her, and as he's going to kill her, Ray steps in front of the knife and saves her life. Her own father saves her. Again, there's things they could have had in this movie that they just don't. 2018, people have called it a remake of John Carpenter's Halloween. And if it is, it's a poor man's remake. It just doesn't feel like that to me at all. If anything, it feels like a movie that at times is all over the place with its own continuity. I do wish they would have dropped this whole look. The Easter egg stuff is fan service, and as a fan, I get it. I'm a fan of those sequels. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep me invested with that. That's not really keeping me invested. That's sort of just catering to your audience. You don't have to cater to me that way. If you're going to cater to me anyway, tell me a story. I love story. I've said this before. People know me. I love to read and I love watching movies that have good stories. And John Carpenter's Halloween had a hell of a story. You had a killer that no one knew was loose, and he was out there murdering. And human error really escalates this too when you watch the original. And I think that's something 2018 was didn't do too. Here's okay, this guy escaped 40 years ago and killed some people. All right, then yeah, you got to get kids off the streets and behind locked doors. And again, it's hard to do a movie. Here's where I'll defend them a bit. It's hard to do a movie that's had all these sequels where okay, you're not trying to copy them. Oh, so we're gonna let the kids out on the street. Yeah, that's just so reckless and careless. You could have had the police. You know what? We'll have patrols. We'll look around. We're not gonna pull kids off the streets just because he's out there. That's something they could have had. And they don't really do that until after the first set of murders, which is weird. And it's like, okay, again, you know this guy's out there, and you've already known he's killed at the bus scene. So why aren't you increasing things? That's again another thing they could have had while they're covering the streets of Haddonfield. Okay, we're patrolling around there, the houses. You know what they forget about? They forget about the Halloween dance that's going on at the high school, the very place Allison is. And guess who followed our sweet little Allison there? One Michael Audrey Myers. He followed her ass all the way to school without any. She kept turning back because she thought somebody was following her. And we see Michael, but she keeps missing him. Like, wait, is someone. There's how you would have felt sorry for her because she didn't know he was following her. She didn't see him. Again, Michael sneaks into the school and starts murdering students. The have gone out, and he starts murdering these kids, leaving Allison and a couple of her friends to fend for themselves. Again, there's things they could have did in this to put this girl over, and they just don't. That's sort of my issue with kills. It takes them all of 2018 and then all of kills to get this girl finally over. And really, she's not that over it because, and really, you're still relying on Jamie Lee Curtis way too much. The character of Laurie Strode, a legacy character. And here's the thing: if you build new characters and have Michael Myers stalk them, yeah, you're going to build up your new characters if you tell that story properly. And that's one thing I felt 2018 just hasn't done for me properly. It's no John Carpenter's Halloween, and it's nowhere near close to it. I love how people, oh, this is better than the original. It's like, really? Is it? No, it's not. It's awful. Here's the thing: people's defense for this is to knock the sequels, like Blumhouse has been doing. And it's like, if that's your line of defense, then you really don't have much for it at all. I've pointed out flaws here, but I've pointed out the pros and cons too, things they could have did. Here's what I liked. I liked the podcasters going to visit Michael. I didn't like them having the mask. I feel that Michael could have just stolen another mask, sort of mimicking more of John Carpenter's Halloween a bit. I did like my favorite scene was the podcaster's interview on Laurie Strode, and I loved what the Mal had said. He said, she asked him, "Do you believe in a boogeyman?" He said, "I believe in Michael Myers, but a deranged serial killer, but the boogeyman? No, I don't believe in that." And it's almost like Aaron's asking, "Why should I?" without asking it. And I love that. Again, he shouldn't believe in the boogeyman. Why should he? He has no reason to. It's something I've gone back to with Halloween. The only way to really appreciate Michael is to experience him for yourself and live to tell about it. Unfortunately, there's not too many people around who do that because he's a cold blooded killer. And that's something I love about Michael, too. That's the one thing the trilogy has done very well. Michael has been an efficient killer in these two movies. Do I wish he would do a little more stalking of the victim? Sure. That's something I would have. I wish we'd see more of in this trilogy that we don't see enough of is Michael actually stalking the victims prior. And again, it's something just a little tiny fix would help. So again, what I hope to see in ends is more stalking, a lot more stalking. Um, Look, I've heard that they're going to say a radio frequency has made Michael kill. No, I have no vested interest in that. I don't care for that. I just think that's why can't Michael just be this cold-blooded killer with no real explanation now? You know, it's funny. 2 years ago, I said they needed to explain why Michael was doing all this, and everybody was saying no. And here's the thing: now everybody seems to be support all Blumhouse's radio frequency, and I'm here to tell you, you were right to begin with. Maybe there is no reason. Maybe he doesn't need one because that's the thing. Sometimes no explanation is the simplest. That's just it. I mean, really, I don't. And again, people want to say I defend the sister connection. Well, here's the thing: I don't consider the sister connection a reason why. I just don't. Okay, Laurie Strode sister. So what? What does that tell me? That tells me Jack can shit. If he was really just after his family, why didn't mom and dad get 86 the night of 78 as well? Or sorry, the night of 63 as well? Why didn't he just wait for them to come into the house and kill them too? If he's really just after his family. Again, that's not really an explanation that, oh, Laurie's his sister, so he's after his family. Wait, he is? He's after his family? Well, mom and dad didn't die by Michael's hand. Mom and dad died of a car accident, which I still find very suspect, by the way. I'm no expert in Chicago weather, but I don't think it snows in the middle of summer. I mean, maybe they slid in the rain. I don't know, or maybe they faked their death. Not that that would matter. And no offense, if Michael was my kid, I'd fake my own death too. My God, that's awful to say. Oh my God. Wouldn't you? Seriously, Michael Myers is your kid. You just know your daughter got 86. It's time to check out, whether you really check out or not. Yes, table for two. See ya, bye. That's the thing, too. Michael was so dangerous, too. I do give credit for this. Yes, they showed Allyson as brave, but also they showed the character can be very vulnerable, too, by being brave. So there is that. Not the first time they've showed this in a franchise where a character's been brave. Freddie Harris obviously has stood up to him. Um, Rachel Carruthers stood up to him too, and that's what's been interesting. There have been heroic characters in this throughout this franchise. It'll be interesting to see what happens and ends. I hope you guys enjoy this Michael Myers Monday.